Right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our alumni webinar. A usual program we normally do for our alumni, and the aim is to upskill, get relevant exposure to key issues, and appreciate some current development regarding our profession. And today, it's another session, and we hope to replicate this in the coming months as we used to have in the past. We used to have this happening every month, but we had to go on a pause briefly, but it's good time to repeat it again. So for this particular month, that is for September, we have arranged one of our own, an alumni of our SPA, to pick us or take us through a specific topic, which we have overly looked at and have agreed that it is something very important that we all need to appreciate, which is building a unique professional profile. So once again, welcome every alumni, as well as all persons interested in this particular topic. My name is Sigmund Yevuga, and I'm actually the managing consultant at ASPA, and it's a pleasure to have all of you on this call this evening, making time in this holiday to be part of us. It's a real privilege, and we don't take it for granted at all. So without much ado, we want to go into business. We want to actually introduce our speaker for the night. Our program will be such that we'll have a live session where the speaker will present, then we'll take a break, and then we come for questions. So prepare your questions, prepare them, and once the time comes, I will be allowing you to, I'll be reading some of them to us via our Q&A box, and then also at the right time also we'll allow some of you to come live to ask your questions. So that is the way we'll be approaching it. So I'll quickly introduce our speaker, our profound speaker for the night. Dixon is an alumni of our SPA, and that is a great privilege. He was part of our tuition program at our SPA. And Dixon is now an accountant, but he's been an accountant with a decade worth of experience. He currently works as an accountant and compliance manager at Lantini Limited, where he leads the company's financial and finance and operation and ensure also regulatory compliance. In addition to that, to his leadership role, Dixon is a project lead for Career Campus Ghana Limited, an organization dedicated to empowering young professionals through tailored career guidance. He's recognized as one of the top 10 LinkedIn influencers in Ghana by Favicon in 2003. And Dixon has leveraged his impressive following of over 46,000 people on LinkedIn to inspire and mentor aspiring professionals across not just Ghana, but across Africa. His influence extends beyond LinkedIn, and he frequently shares insights into career advice and practical strategies for personal development. His expertise has earned him invitations from notable institutions, including the MasterCard Foundation, Soronko Academy, the University of Ghana's Engineering Department, University of Professional Studies Accounting Department, among others, where he offers practical insight into CV preparation, including interview coaching to students as well as young professionals. Academically, Dixon graduated with the first-class Bachelor of Science in Accounting from the University of Professional Studies, UPSA, and was awarded a scholarship to pursue the Institute of Chartered Accountant Ghana qualification program. And the good news is that he's completed in March. And another good news is that he was referred as a SPA. Recently, he earned a Master of Science in Accounting and Finance from the University of Ghana Business School, further solidifying his expertise in financial management and strategy. And the final commentary is that Dixon is a husband to one wife and a father to two children, a boy and a girl. Isn't that lovely? Good, 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 good. So that was just a great read of the profile of our facilitator, who will take us into an in-depth understanding of this particular topic, building a unique professional profile. And I can tell you, Dixon is an expert in this area, and it's a wonder to have him join us to speak to us on this particular interesting topic. So I wouldn't want to take it too long. I just want us to move straight into business because today is actually a holiday and I don't want to keep you waiting too much to hear this exciting presentation. So Dixon, if you are ready, your audience are waiting to enjoy this interesting presentation. So you can kindly share your screen if you are ready. Are you able to do that so that I can assist quickly so that we may? Are you able to?
Yes. Okay.
Great. So you can actually.
Okay, let me just put it in presentation mode.
Good.
Yeah. All right. I guess I can be heard.
Loud and clear.
All right. Thank you and good evening. I would say my colleagues and also seniors. It's a real privilege for me to be doing this courtesy say early and the Aspire Institute. So without wasting my time, let's get straight into the action. I think I have a very unique task today to take you through how you can create a unique professional profile as an accountant. So the question I've always been, people have always been asking me is, okay, how do I move from where I am now to the next level? Okay, now I have the certificate. So on the in my presentation, you see young ladies and gentlemen holding their CA certificate, but then beyond that, what happens? Okay, that is what we're going to do tonight, and hopefully we will do this in 30 minutes, and you can bring all the questions that you have, and myself and Sir Eli will definitely do justice. Of course, some of you probably also have insights, so we will allow you also to share your insight. Okay, so let's get into the business. So this is just a bit about me. It has been read already, so no need. Okay, so we will be going through 5 main items. The first one on the bill is how you can create a standout CV as an accountant, and then how you can ace the accountant job interview, whether you are just a beginner or you are entering the CFO level. Now, we then will transit into how you can create a unique profile, professional profile for yourself as an accountant. You look at what you need to do at that level, very important. And then you look at how you can enhance your skills and qualifications as an accountant. And very importantly, how you can leverage on networking and also building connections in the accounting industry. So let's get into it. I think for CV, many of us are aware how CVs are supposed to be structured. I think for the past 2 years, I have done over 500 CVs across several professions, and I've come out with these things as the main issues you need to, attend to when you are drafting a CV. So I will share samples with you after this session, but to get into it, for a CV, one, we are interested in emphasizing the technical expertise. Okay, here, what it means is that for every job advertisement that comes out there, the job advertisement requests for specific, technical expertise that you need to show. And so for you as the accountant, your CV should then show how proficient you are in, handling the various accounting softwares and also the technical aspect of financial analysis, and of course, the reporting aspect of accounting. Now, this is not generic. This particular aspect you are seeing is not generic in that depending on the particular role you are applying, whether it is in the government sector or it is in the NGO, which is the development organizations, or in the purely commercial industries where we find ourselves, you might have to, tweak these things as well. And then you also need to show industry specific knowledge on your CV. So you realize we have several IFRSs, IAS, those who are into audits, you have the ISAS and the rest. So depending on which one is relevant to the role you are applying for, and the point is that if you have the knowledge and you have the skill, then you can put it on your CV as having that. And then you also need to highlight your professional qualifications. Most often than not, for the CVs that have come to me, you realize that people are more interested in highlighting their professional qualifications rather than emphasizing technical expertise and industry knowledge, which is too bad because, mind you, you might be a CA, you might have other qualifications and all that, but those things it's just a minute part of the whole thing. That is why sometimes you find CAs, and the person might not, might be unemployed at the moment, or maybe I've coached lawyers and engineers who are still at home because the jobs are not there, or maybe the jobs that are available are not good enough for them. All right. Then I'm also saying that here is where I normally tell my client to pay attention. And today is something that I want you to pay attention. Always, always, always hammer on your experience. So when it comes to the CV, sometimes somebody will ask, should my education come first, or should the experience come first? There is no straight jacket. It depends on how relevant those things are. For example, somebody might have a very strong academic background, but little experience. In that sense, it will be better for you to show your academic qualifications first before you get to the experience, because the experience side might not put you in good light relative to the academic aspect of it. It is also the either way around, where if you have maybe you graduated several years ago, but maybe you've had several experiences in the profession as an accountant or an accounts officer, whichever role that you find yourself in, you might want to highlight those ones, because those ones put you in proper light other than your academic qualifications. And then I always advise, and I will say this tonight, that you have to always find a way to quantify your achievement. And when I say quantify your achievement, for example, I get CVs where the person says preparation of bank reconciliation statement. Well, that could be fine, but the question that I want to dig deeper is, how regularly do you do this? Because when it comes to achievement, the point of the matter is that you want to, in the accounting profession, in money professions, you want to know, okay, are you able to meet timelines? Do you abide with the internal policies of the organization? Then do you also abide with the statutory regulatory issues? That is issues of compliance. And then how regularly do you do this? How much is the amount involved for which you reconcile the account? And has there been instances where your reconciliation has brought out maybe an issue that could have hurt the company financially? So these are the critical issues that you need to dig in when you are preparing your CV, so that whatever that you put on the CV is not just listing of functions, because for listing of functions, most people do, okay, but then to stand out, it means you have to give us something that shows that indeed you understand what you are talking about and you know what you are explaining. And that is why I'm saying today that you need to find a way to quantify. Most times myself guilty as you, we normally don't document our work. So we think that is just the normal point, but then you get to know these things are important at the point where you need to showcase your work that you've done good job over the period. So instead of just saying maybe preparation of preparation of bank reconciliation statement, I might want to put it that prepared bank reconciliation statement at the end of every month, okay, for maybe how many banks involved, maybe for 3 banks, amount with amount exceeding, maybe you give an amount for that, or you could even give the number of transactions if you have an idea. Sometimes they might not be the exact figures, but they should make sense. The judgment and everything should make sense in terms of how you do it. And then you need to highlight diverse experiences if you have them. If you do not have them, as maybe you are a newbie, you are now entering the job market, this probably might not apply to you so much, but then you can highlight the things you have done through your maybe you did national service, so you can do that, or you did some internship somewhere. Whatever that you have done, you can find a way to make it important. And to make it important means that the job advertisement that has been put in place requires that. And then if you have some leadership and teamwork skills, why not? Maybe you led a team or something, you can show all of these things on your CV. All right, so let's quickly look at CV layout and presentation. Because we are in the age of AI, a lot of people now just go to AI, key in few things, and AI will generate some things for them. Let me tell you tonight that most often than not, AI will give you generic items. Okay, you need to tailor whatever you have, and the language and everything should make sense such that it means that human beings did the work and not just an AI generating some things for you. Even if AI generate for you, you still need to come down to Word documents and do the proper editing. I always emphasize on Word document because this is one of the critical tools that we use at the workplace. And so your ability to navigate around it to show that indeed you are proficient in it is also a way. And that is why I always want you to use Word documents when it comes to CV layout and presentation. So we are saying that it should be clear. A lot of time I receive CVs and sometimes, I don't know, we think that probably because our love for more, we think that the more the better. I'm telling you for a fact that it doesn't really work that way when it comes to CVs. You need to know whether it is important to put even a particular experience or not, because not every experience will be needed and all. So that is why I'm saying that you need to tailor the CV to the job description. For example, you started off teaching as a teacher in a school. Okay, currently you become a CA, you are into the mainstream accounting. If you are applying to a particular role and you really want to tailor your CV, you might want to even omit that particular experience. And it doesn't mean that you are being dishonest, no, because here it is more about which of the experiences will put you in better light, okay? And that is how you should go about it. And I always advise that proofreading, is very important. You have to proofread whatever you've written, because there have been instances where I have been part of interview panel and someone comes, for me, as an accountant, I always want to emphasize on paying attention to details. So somebody will bring a CV. I will not ask technical questions around accounting, but I'll just tell you that this place, there is no comma, or this place, there is no full stop. And the person will be surprised, or this place, the spelling is not right. And the person will be surprised that, hey, how? It means that you yourself, even you don't know your CV, and that can really go against you. Now, so that is just a bit about CVs. Indeed, I'm sure we will have a better time to go into details as to how to write, a winning CV. But then tonight, this should suffice. And so we move on to job interviews. I think it's one of the most dreadful things when it comes to our profession as accountants. I've seen a lot of, good people, but they come to job interviews and it is all a mess sometimes. It doesn't mean that they are bad people or they are bad professionals. It's just because they didn't do their homework well. And doing your homework well means that whenever they invite you for job interview, the first point of call should be to research about the company. You need to understand where the company has come from in terms of its mission, vision, and all those things. And of course, I'm sure mission, vision obviously aligns with you so much because of case studies, and I'm sure many of you understand the point I'm making. In that, yes, you need to know how the company where the company has come from in terms of history, its history. Some of its products and services, because you want to work with me. One of the questions I'll ask is, why do you want to work with Aspire? Okay, why do you want to work with Aspire? It means that you have known one or two things about Aspire, which has really inspired you for you to be there. But then when you come and you are unable to answer basic questions like this, then clearly it means that you are not ready for the job. And most often than not, you might be waved over. And then again, I'm saying that you need to analyze the job description and requirement. See, it is not just enough for you to just say, I'm just pushing my CV towards the job. No. Did you take your time to go through the job description, the itemized items? So maybe you want to apply for finance officer, accounts officer in a particular company, organization, whatever it is. Did you take time to go through? And even where there are no job descriptions, did you take time to research about, okay, what are the job descriptions for maybe an accountant in a manufacturing company? Okay, at least it gives you rough ideas as to what is expected of you when you join the organization, and that will help you to see, okay, do I have this experience? Am I better off? Or maybe like most Ghanaians would do, let me try my luck. I'm telling you for a fact that from today onwards, if you have been doing try your luck when it comes to job applications, you got to put a stop to it, because most often than not, it will not work. Again, I'm saying that the interview is always a two-way street. The company will interview you. You also need to interview them. What do I mean by you interview them? At the end of the job interview, you are mostly, allowed to ask questions. And this is where, if you have done your homework well, it will come true that indeed you really know what you are talking about. And it is important for you to ask very creative and insightful questions. Let me share with you one of my questions I normally will ask is about, okay, so what are your expectations of me once I assume the role? So this basically highlights the fact that you are already thinking about how you help them resolve issues. And most times this question will give you an idea whether you are doing well, because sometimes the response that will come from the interviewers will give you an idea whether indeed they really see you as a potential candidate, or probably you are just one of them passing through. So it is important that we do these things. And then we are saying that we have to listen. I think one of the critical tools for any professional development is the spirit of listening, active listening. You listen to understand and not to respond. And that is why I always tell my people that anytime you go to job interview, remember you are there as a value addition and not there as maybe people are doing you favor. And that it is important that when you don't understand the question that has been posed to you, take your time, ask the panelists. They are human beings. They are not from planets, whatever. They are human beings as you. You could ask, know the person's name. Mr. Eli, do you mind repeating the question? Okay, at least sometimes it also helps you to, reorganize your thoughts and all that. The interview room is for you to show forth your interpersonal skills as well. And that is why it is important you practice active listening. Also, we should be mindful of the nonverbal communications and body languages. Sometimes you are there, you are fidgeting because it shows you are nervous, or probably sometimes somebody came there and was on even his phone, and I was like, are you really serious? At that time, yes, you need to put everything to hold and ensure that, yes, you are smiling throughout, you are answering the questions. Where you are, probably you don't understand, you let them know, okay? And then of course, at all times, you have to show that you're a professional, because you know the accounting profession is so high class in a way that we always expect you to show professionalism. All right. And again, I'm saying that, yes, you also have to, adapt your communication style, of course, to different interviewers, because personalities differ. And so how you respond, to a question to a woman might differ from how you do same to a man. Sometimes people don't understand when I speak this way, but until you find yourself in a room of maybe some Indians and some other nationalities, you understand that when you do these things, it will really help you. All right. So what are some of the key tips I'm leaving with you when it comes to job interview? I'm saying that always first impression matters, and hence the first question in most interviews, 99% of the time, is tell us about yourself. This is where you have to demonstrate, give a high level overview of where you have come from in terms of your career, where you are now, and how the job really aligns with your career path. This is how you have to introduce yourself and give that kind of elevator pitch in most of the times in job interviews when you are asked to, introduce yourself. And then we are more interested about the achievements and contributions rather than the functions, and hence you need to always show them, by giving examples, and if possibly quantify your contributions where possible. Again, you also need to lastly align how your brand, of course, aligns with the company's needs. Sometimes the company, one of the crucial interview questions could be, where do you see yourself, within the next 3 to 5 years? Or how do you see yourself or your career panning out within the next 3 to 5 years? This is the time for you to show, the interviewer that, yes, you intend, your intention and everything really aligns with what they are looking for, in that, yes, within the next 3 to 5 years, I hope to, maybe if you are an accounts officer now, you hope to probably move to an accounts manager or finance manager role, and in that order. If you know how the company is structured, it also gives you an idea how to, answer such questions, so that, yes, at every point in time, you align perfectly with what the company is looking for. All right. Now, so far I've touched briefly on developing, how we can develop CVs, and also how we can organize ourselves for job interview and ace them. Now let's get into the meat here. Let's get into the meat. Developing unique professional profile as an accountant. All right. Now we are all in the, this particular aspect is not an event, it's a process, in that you might not really reach your potential even before you exit the profession as an accountant, or you exit this edge. That which means that we should always highlight on some of our skill sets which we have and those that we are developing. And so for us as accountants, definitely you need to talk about your financial analysis and reporting, very important, and also how you are able to leverage some technology. For what do I mean? Now you know that in schools, in most schools in Ghana, unfortunately, we still do paper and pen accounting, T account and the rest. But once you get into the field, that is not done. We use Microsoft Excel, and we use other tools such as we use other tools, to organize the books. So we use QuickBooks, we use Sage, we use Tally, Odoo. Depending on the organization that you find yourself, you might be using all manner of technologies. So if you really want to stand out, then at least you should be proficient in minimum 3 of them. And when I say minimum, the minimum is Microsoft Excel. And like it is, you might not, eventually even get to the top part of, Microsoft Excel. But then what you need to get your work done, you should have it, because you are going to show your proficiency. And it is important that at every point in time, whether you've been working for 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, depending on your dream, if you are on this call tonight, I strongly encourage you. So, as far as financial modeling class sessions, you can really join one of them and improve upon your Microsoft, Excel. That is the minimum I will recommend for anyone. Even me myself, I'm learning it. There were times that I had to call people on the Aspire platform to help me with some Microsoft, Excel stuff. So it's always a continuous learning thing, but it is something that you should invest your monies into if you really want to stand out and build a unique profile. Then we understand that, yes, our profession is highly regulated for obvious reasons, and hence you need to be, you need to always be abreast with the issues running around. So some of these issues come from our regulators, we know them. And of course, we have the IASB. They come out with the various IFRSs and the IASs that we use. And those in the audit profession, you also have your own set of regulators. It means that what it means here is that you can't just say, okay, I'm done with CA, so you go home and sleep. You need to be reading. And for me, if there's nothing I'm able to do, I can proud myself that there's not a single day that I don't read something around new development when it comes to the profession, when it comes to regulatory landscape, probably because I do a lot of compliance stuff with my organization. Again, to build a unique profile as an accountant, definitely we need to engage in industry associations. A lot of people don't like joining associations because they will be paying dues. But I'm telling you that the value you get for joining associations and all definitely will supersede any contributions that you make in any way. And then, of course, sometimes you need to get into mentoring and sharing of knowledge. Here, mentorship, I mean, you can be a mentor or you can be a mentee. I sit here, I'm a mentee to some people in the industry, some people that I look up to, and sometimes when I'm faced with challenges, I call upon them to for knowledge and things. Yes, and of course, I also share knowledge. I love to share knowledge for free, and then I also, of course, sometimes for money because I need to pay the bills, But then what I want to say here is that, yes, you need to always be ready to share the knowledge you have. It is, if you are that kind of person who always want to keep things to yourself, I'm telling you that is a very bad way to build a professional profile. And especially if you are at the workplace and you think that, by sharing your knowledge with your colleagues, it means that you'll be worse off. I'm telling you that you'll be worse off for not sharing, because when it comes to leadership and you are in a very good organization, we want to know people, we want to give leadership roles to people who are ready to share knowledge. Okay, share knowledge, mentor people, let them know. And I'm telling you that you will not just be an accountant who sits at one corner and be crunching numbers, but you will be very, very valuable as a business partner when it comes to the profession. And with that, we all know that as people who are accountants, some of us will be inducted tomorrow and the next day. Continuous professional development is something that you cannot overlook. And when I talk about continuous professional development, I've categorized them into three. The first one is about professional certifications. Yes, you can embark upon them. I know some of you are doing CIT, others are doing other things. But then for whatever job that you have, definitely you can't ignore, and you have to invest in it. And investing in it is also investing in emerging technologies, because now our job as an accountant is on the line largely. If you don't know, I'm telling you, the future of the accountancy profession, when you read some of the the publications from the top four, auditing firms and other consultancies, they're really talking about how AI and these AI items will be, disrupting our jobs as accountants. The point is that AI will only take your job if you are not conversant with how AI works. And that is why you have to get yourself abreast with some of these things, and don't think that they are alien to us. No, it will get to a point in time where we might not have an option but to use them in all spheres of our profession as an accountant. And then, of course, we also have to understand that in this world, we don't always get things how we want it. It means that sometimes you might have to adapt, you might have to change. And I know some of us might not even use the CA certification to do anything. You know, we might be, maybe we might be business people doing our own business, or we might be doing something that has nothing to do with accounting. All of these things are things that if we really want to, you know, stand out and grow, then we have to really ensure that, yes, we are always flexible, you know, working in teams. And when I talk about working in teams now, the jobs that we have is not just mortar and, you know, mortar and bricks or mortar and blocks kind of jobs. Some of our jobs are remote. And when I talk about remote, that means that you sit in Ghana and you work with somebody who is in Asia, or you work with somebody who is in South America, or your boss is in America, US, whatever it is. And that means that you have to be adaptable, because sometimes some people might say, hey, me, I don't like LGBTQ, blah, blah. Oh, fine. But then the people you work with probably ascribe to that. Are you going to say yes because you are an accountant and you don't subscribe to that, so you're not going to work with them? Then clearly you are not ready for leadership, because all of these people, ideas and new approaches and everything will come, you know, and hence you need to be ready to adapt to new cultures and, of course, to be creative in all spheres and shapes. And this is how, you know, continuous professional development should be. And let me go to the next slides where I've really let me go back where I've really hammered on something. Let me go back a bit. Sorry. Okay. So if you look at the diagram I put, there are a lot of things that I have, you know, I want you to, you know, put your minds to. Okay. So quickly, let me go to the next one. How can we enhance our skills in an attempt to build a unique profile as an accountant? Here, I'm emphasizing, of course, getting your CA qualification or semi-ACCA is great, which many of us, you know, and some of us are students, so we are still pursuing. And of course, attending industry-specific workshops. And this is very important. You know, I subscribe to PwC and Deloitte. When they're organizing programs, they will often send you know, emails. Oh, maybe they are organizing this and that. Some of them have paid monies to attend myself. Some of them are organization, you know, paid for me and all. All of these things is to ensure that, yes, I'm always in tune with whatever is going on. And of course, the world now is so easy for us, but difficult for many because we don't like to read. And if you really want to stand out, I'm telling you that, hey, you have to read. Now, there are vast, you know, knowledge available for us to read. And I do a lot of reading. So sometimes when I write, some people think, oh, okay, how did he get this? Yes, I read around. I read not only things now, I read a lot of, you know, stuff around just to get, you know, abreast with the issues. And of course, if you really want to stand out, I will recommend, you know, for you to, you know, subscribe to things like the Harvard Business Review. It's paid, but you have a lot of you will get a lot of information, especially about leadership, management, and other things, because the job for us as an accountant has transitioned from just crunching of numbers to being business partners, doing advisory and helping management and the board of directors with a lot of technical and strategic stuff. And so if you don't want to read and you think, okay, you are done with CA, so Sally, should mind his business, I'm telling you that you are in the wrong profession, because our profession, you have to read, subscribe to journals, pay money. We always want free things. No, pay money and get things done. All right. So then let's look at these specific, you know, specific stuff, like developing expertise in specialized areas. Yes, the accounting profession is broad, is vast. Okay, you can do a lot if you want, but for many of us, probably you are the main accountant in the organization. It means that your expertise should cover most of the critical areas, and then you can fall on your colleagues and your juniors to help you, because I always say that, I'm not a master of everything. There are a lot of things I do not know, and hence I always call upon my colleagues and others to get to us, for assistance. And you can specialize in tax. You know, tax is a big deal. It's a law in itself. And so you can do that and even go ahead to go to Makola and pursue probably pursue law, specializing in tax and tax planning and all that. And of course, forensic accounting and then financial analysis, all of these things are there. Of course, you also have, people with expertise in international, financial reporting standards and all, and you can become a coach and all. I mean, some of us, probably we are not heading towards here, but whichever way it is, you need to identify which of these areas that you are more interested in. It is not about which one people are doing, no, it is about what interests you and where your strength lies. Okay, so we move on. And then, yes, for technology, I've already spoke about a few of them, but then these are some of the critical tools that, please, if you are on this call and you want to really, really stand out as an accountant, then you should learn some of these things. Some of these things are for free. You go to Coursera, you go to YouTube, you can, get these things. You can download some of them for free. QuickBooks, I use QuickBooks in the office, QuickBooks Online. I have used SAP before. I've never used Zero. I don't know what it's about. But then, depending on where you work, you might want to, get knowledge of these things. Currently, I am now a student of data analytics. I'm a student of data analytics because for accountants, we use a lot of data. We have a lot of data on our tables. But then how do we make sure we are able to make meanings out of this data to drive decision making? It means that we have to, know some of these data analytics tools. And of course, this is the world of data. And so we have to learn some of these things. Power BI, Pattern, Tableau, and the rest we can do. Of course, then you also know issues about cloud-based accounting solutions. And then we also have to, the thing is that once you learn most of these things and Excel, you are able to automate some of your repetitive tasks. For example, you can design your own things that can do bank reconciliation statement. So once you put in the data, it will generate, to do the bank reconciliation statement. You just check whether everything is fine, and then you are on the go. So you are able to, do your month close entries and everything on time, get your reports on time, submit on time, and then I'm sure that can catapult you into a very successful career as an accountant. Then, of course, this is one of the limitations. I think I'll be wrapping up very soon. This is one of the limitations, communication skills. A lot of people think accountants, we are dull. Accountants, we only know numbers. Accountants have poor communication skills, language and all, but I'm telling you for a fact that, it is not true, probably because of the prudence concept, most accountants are reserved. But then if you really want to build a strong, a strong profile for yourself, very unique, you definitely have to embrace communication. You see, and when I talk about communications, there are so many aspects of communication. Interpersonal communications between yourselves in the office, or between yourselves and your colleagues, or wherever you find yourself, you have to know how to communicate and build relationships. Many of us, we are not good at it. We go through schools and we don't even have friends. A lot of us, even for Aspire, we are over something on the platform, but some people, they've never said a word. They are just there. If you are like that person, I'm sorry, but from today, you have to really try and begin communicating with others. Let people know about you. Let people know what you do, and it will really help you. And of course, you have to develop effective presentation skills. Yes, I'm still learning about presentation. And of course, if you really want to stand out, you do a lot of presentation in your career, because the accountant, I've told you that the job is no more about just numbers. You have to do presentations. And knowing presentation means that you also have to know how to use PowerPoint. I think I've designed something nice. And of course, now with the age of technology, you can design a lot of things. If you know how to use the tools, it's really helpful. Then foster teamwork and collaboration. I've already talked about this. And then mentorship and leadership, I've spoken about these things. How then can we, adapt to the evolving regulatory and then the standards. Of course, that means that we have to be reading. I've told you that for the reading, accountant, we have to read even more than lawyers because you need to understand a lot of issues. Today on one of our platforms, it's been like 3 days. We've been arguing over a certain withholding tax, whether to withhold at 10% or 20%. If you've not read the acts, you've not read any ruling by the court, you've not read any guiding principles or practice note from GRA, you can't contribute and you wouldn't know, and that will not help you. And then now, because of issues of environmental, social, and governance, we need to understand. Recently, ICA organized something around this. Probably you are not aware, but if you are aware, please take interest, read about them. Say Eli has video on it on YouTube. You can really take your time and go through issues of sustainability and all that. And then, of course, the tax issues will always be with us. It keeps evolving, and hence it means that we have to be reading and getting abreast with the various tax regulations. I think very soon, next month or so, the finance minister will be reading the budgets. Definitely take interest, especially issues of taxation, because it is a key issue the government always hammers on when it comes to our profession. Now, and lastly, networking and building connections. You see, when you talk about networking in Ghana, we say, oh, connection, and then it means that, hey, this guy, your connection. So, it is not just, sometimes we say it in the negative light, but I'm telling you that networking is the new currency in the world. Whether you are an accountant or not, you need to know how to network. And when I talk about networking, it is identifying the people and opportunities available within the space that you operate in and also elsewhere. And you can leverage social media to do this. So for the ladies on the call, I don't know whether you are aware that we have Association of Women Accountants. And I specifically brought this picture to show you that you can really join them. Some of these women, very old, they have a lot of, experience as accountants. You can look up to them. You can send them a message. Hi, madam, my name is so-and-so. I just graduated. I have read your profile. I'm interested in learning more from you, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be glad if you can spare me a day or two, blah, blah, blah. In 90% of the time, you won't get any feedback from them because probably they are too busy or they have other things doing. But the one person who will respond to you probably can be the life changer that you need. All right. So take note of these things. I've mentioned this. Attend industry events. When it is the end of the year and we are going for the accountant conference, make time and go. Spend some small coins and attend. It is an opportunity for you to network, leave your comfort zones, spend small money. We don't like spending money on our career and other things, you have to be very intentional about some of these things. It doesn't come just like that. Then utilize social media. Respectfully, one of these days, let me organize something around LinkedIn because a lot of people, we don't know it and we don't use it in the right way. So we organize something for you. And it is one of the best tools you can use to showcase yourself and to network with others. I sit here and I have friends who work in several other countries in Ghana and also elsewhere. And it amazes you to know that, sometimes they even send you opportunities. They'll tell you, oh, maybe I have this consultancy, but maybe they don't have time or something. They might, seed it to you. And if you can have the expertise and you can do it, these are the things that we talk about when it comes to networking. You have to approach people. If you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to do it in another session. Now, I say join professional organizations. Yes, I've talked about this, and then maintain relationships. Anytime we talk about networking, you don't go as a beggar. You go as a value addition person because, hey, nobody has time to say, you call and say, oh, I'm interested in this. Can you help me? What can you also offer? So sometimes you need to just send emails to people and just, tell them that my name is so and so. I'm very good at Excel. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. In case you need somebody to do this, I'm willing to offer to you for free. Offer things for free that will help you build the relationship, and that can catapult you to the next level in your profession. In all, focus on giving value, be genuine and authentic. Yes, follow up and follow through. You might not always get response, follow up. And then lastly, I think some of these things I've highlighted already. So let me just go to basic networking etiquette and we can wrap up. Respect others' time. See, as I sit here, I'm not the most whatever, but I can tell you on a daily basis that I receive close to 100 WhatsApp messages from different people on daily basis. When I go to LinkedIn, all of them, sometimes it becomes overwhelming, but I try my best. So when you send message and the person has not responded, don't think that, oh, this person is a snob or whatever it is. You will never know. And so you have to always be empathetic when it comes to seeking for help through the networking. Express gratitude. Show when people, do something for you, tell them, medasi, in a very genuine and authentic way, and be proactive. Some people will say, oh, I want you to mentor me. They will say that and go and sleep. I don't have time to follow up. Respectfully, I don't have time. And many of the big people like Seeli and the rest, they don't have time. So if you don't show up, I'm telling you that you are done. And then you have to always be learning, staying updated, and all these are very important so that when you are having discussions with your mentors and others and mentees, you can show that indeed you are abreast with what is going on. Oh, so I think this is where the curtain is drawn. Seeli, can you come in?
Yes. Thank you so much for the exciting presentation. Just having learned so much in just this short time and making our holiday very useful. And we'll be taking some questions. I know people are itching to ask questions. Some have already started dropping it in the Q&A box. But we'll take just maybe some 2 minutes to just do some few advert or just tell you more about what we do as an institution and also give you an update on some of our programs. And I'm sure you'll be able to get some advice on them and make plans to attend them. Just a quick one. So let me just share some of our programs with you as quick as possible, then we can move to a question and answer session. So we normally have our executive training. Now that we are talking about professional, building a unique professional profile, as Dixon has shared, you would need to build competency, especially in the area of IT. And we have some programs that can actually help you. We have the financial modeling for accountant, the practical accounting proficiency course, and also the trainee audit associate course. A program we normally do 3 times a year. Our next program hopefully will be in June, and I will expect you to wait and prepare towards that. One of the other programs we also do is our CIMA program. Most of you should be aware of that by now. As a CA member, you can fast track your qualification to become a CIMA member, and the fee is to pay an amount of £850, and that qualifies you to write just one paper, which is the CIMA strategic case study paper, and become a full-fledged CIMA member. We offer tuition for that. If you are aware or you are not aware, it's good to know that ASPA offers world-class tuition for CIMA programs. Okay, kindly take note of that. We offer tuition for both the strategic case study paper and the management case study paper. But once you are a CA, you don't have a problem. You just write only the strategic case study paper. Currently, we are running tuition for the November exam, and hopefully you can also register for the February also, but essentially this November, there will be another type of exam, so you can prepare towards that. And I must say that, yes, our students have done so well on our CIMA program. We even have a global achiever who secured top spot across the world by qualifying on our platform. Then also we have our CIT program. So those of you interested in tax, you can take advantage of our CIT program. we've just commenced our CIT program for the February exam. So if you are interested, you can join us on that. Our programs or our timetable is very flexible and it's mainly online. And then we have books available for all our CIT courses. For us doing or who have already ICA members, you are actually going to write only 6 papers to qualify as a chartered tax practitioner. And we offer both the final level 1 and final level 2. That's 6 papers. And once you write those 6 papers, you can become a qualified tax practitioner. And it's a game changer now because very soon for you to file your tax for a corporate entity, it must be signed by a chartered tax practitioner, and the opportunity will become endless for those who have taken advantage of the opportunity to qualify as chartered tax practitioners. So another wonderful news is that those of us who are all CA members, we have the opportunity to write to become a member of the Certified Internal Auditor, CIA. And for ICA members, you can partake in the challenge exam. I think the period for application will end just 30th of September. So make sure that you take advantage of that also so that you can prepare to write the challenge exam and end the qualification as a certified internal auditor. So these are all opportunities you can take advantage of to build your unique professional profile. At Aspire, we offer tuition, world-class tuition on almost all of these programs. So you can reach us on them and we'll help you to get yourself to the next level when it comes to your professional accomplishment. So on that note, we'll take questions now that we've been able to actually get you to appreciate what we do at Aspire. We are a tuition provider, world-class tuition provider. Our programs are delivered mainly online. And as I said, we run professional programs, executive training programs to build capacity for our members. And for those who are alumni, there's an advantage to be with Aspire to join most of these training programs. So on that note, I wish we can now take our question and answer session. Time is so fast spent. So Dixon, are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready? So if you can maybe reshare your slide, maybe to the point where you were asking for questions, so that maybe if there's a question that is highlighting an aspect on the slide, you can easily move to that.
Yeah.
So we'll start with those who have shared questions in the Q&A, so that once we are done with that, then we can move to those who may want to come live to ask questions, okay? So the first question was from Emmanuel. He says that for those of them who are yet to undergo national service, how can they effectively manage time to enhance their career? And then also, what are some of the valuable type of experience that he could use to add value to his CV? Exactly. And how can one build a professional brand that is authentic and aligned with personal values? So that's the first question. A national service person, what are some of the things you can do to build your profile, or opportunities you can use to build your profile? So Dixon, you can take that as I navigate through the other questions.
Yes. So Emmanuel, I think when it comes to time management, basically it is something that you have to be intentional about. And when I say being intentional about it, is that what I learned this late in my career, but then I think it's better. I mean, it's better late than never. In that, make use of tools such as I use. I don't know whether you know Google Keep. I use it a lot. Or you can use calendar. So you adjust your time, time for reading, whatever it is, and you spend less time on things that do not matter. Okay, because we have a lot of things on the internet which doesn't make sense. It doesn't add any value. It probably might entertain you for a day, but then that is it.
It will just burn your data.
Okay, but then when it comes to the experiences that add value to your CV, I think I've highlighted some of them, which you can pursue. Say, Ellie just shared with you some of the nice programs that he organizes at his facility, and you can also take advantage of the others. For example, I hammered on why you need to, learn and become so proficient at the use of Microsoft Excel. This one, you can learn it of course, on your own, or you can seek help from Aspire, and then you'll be fine. In terms of building professional brand. You see, when I talk about brand, is a gamut of issues. But then I will talk about, first one is know what you, know what you profess to know. When I say that, what I mean is that a lot of people, we claim to know things that when we are put to the test, we fumble. Okay, so if you profess to be a qualified accountant, it should show in your expressions, it should show in your dressing, it should show in all that you do, both on online and offline. You know, it is important we observe these things if we want to build a professional and a unique brand.
Good, good. Somebody asked a question that, well, how do you address a deviation, a question in an interview which seemed to be a deviation, like, why are you not married?
You see,
How do you deal with that?
let
Yes.
me say this. When it
Mm-hmm.
comes to such questions, in 99% of the times I've been asked questions which I feel has no relevance, I try most of the time to brush it off. So normally I'll go like, respectfully, I'm unable to answer this question. Do you mind we go to maybe another question which more aligns with the role? You see, in America and the rest, it is highly illegal, and when you are reported, you can be sued for asking people why are they not married, why don't they have kids and those things. Because the question is, how is that relevant to the role? You called me because you've seen some value in my qualifications and experiences. Whether I'm married or not, I mean, in terms of the job, it's not. But most of the times, people go to the interview room and they behave as if the company is doing them a favor. So even when the question is inappropriate, they are unable to tell the people that it's inappropriate. And it is not disrespectful, because if the person wasn't respectful enough to know that these things are private, then you too, you should be courageous enough to give a response that doesn't show that you disrespect them, but shows that you are professional enough not to be answering such a question. Me, I'll tell you that these questions, don't answer. And if that is the reason why they don't want to give you the job, it should tell you that God has really saved you from a very, very poor company with a poor culture.
Okay, let me put this one out. In submitting your CV, do you submit PDF or Word? Which is the preferred option?
You see, it is so easy for Word to be disorganized. So
Okay.
in most of the times, present a PDF version of your
So
CV.
PDF is more appropriate than Word. Is that it?
Yes, yes.
Good.
But of course,
Another.
if the job advertisement is saying present only in Word,
Yeah.
then of course you have to go with Word.
Okay. Okay. So if there's specific, you go, but the preferred is PDF.
Yeah.
Let me ask also this question. Is it necessary to add references to CVs? Quick one.
So if the job advertisement request for it, add. If not,
Okay.
always maintain available upon request. There are several reasons, and one of them is that nowadays there are a lot of fake job advertisements, and they use that to harvest for contact for their, to sell for all kinds of promotional activities. And so you wouldn't want, say Ellis contact to be given out. Meanwhile, there's no guarantee that they are going to even give you the job. And mind you, the references don't get you the job, really, especially at the point where you have not been interviewed. If you have been interviewed and then maybe they are interested and they want to go to the next level with you, then they may contact your references, not because the person is maybe a Kufuado or whatever it is, but because probably the person knows you through and through and can attest to your value in terms of what you profess to put on your CV.
Okay, good. Somebody say, what's the best way to enter an interview session in terms of body posture or demeanor?
It's always good to once you knock once, if the door is closed, you just knock once and enter. You walk straight to them and greet. Most times I prefer handshake greeting more than just standing somewhere and throwing good evening or good morning or whatever around, because it's more professional, and of course it shows the confidence that you exude. It's very important that you enter with a smile, not too laid back with your hand at your back as if you've been caught for the wrongdoing. No, You are there to provide value, show confidence, and
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
So what do you say when you have no answer to a question in an interview?
There are two ways. If you don't have an answer, you can tell them that at the moment I do not have a response to this question. However, I'm willing to research on this, and if you don't mind, I'll get back to you within the next 24 hours after this interview. Sometimes maybe the question, the response has escaped you, or the answer has escaped you. You could then tell them that, do you mind going to the next question whilst I think about this? In many of the times, the interviewers might not even come back to that question. So that time,
Yeah.
you just run away from it.
It is well. It is well. Okay. What are some of the mistakes that commonly happen when you are writing a cover letter to a CV?
Most people repeat what is on the cover. I mean, what is on the CV, on the cover letter. The cover letter, the CV will gives you the broad, overview. But then the cover letter will tell them why you are the best person for the role. So in that, you try to match your skill set to what the company is looking for. And then you tell some issues, for example, I can, because probably I've researched about Aspire, I can maybe mention one or two projects which Aspire is doing, which I feel probably aligns with, my values. And that will really let the people know that indeed you have done your homework. So the cover letter indeed should tell more stories about you than what you put on your CV. If you repeat what is on your CV, there's no value in this.
Okay. Somebody said, do you sign your CV?
We don't. I mean, the practice is that you don't sign, except otherwise there's a need to sign where the company probably is asking you.
Okay. Okay. Somebody say, how do you get noticed if you have more experience and professional certificate than academic certificate, especially when degrees are required?
Well, so like this, every job advertisement that comes out, there are mostly about 4 sessions. So you have where they talk about, okay, what you'll be doing or what is expected of you in terms of your daily routines. And maybe they can talk about your education and then other skills and qualifications. So if you have more qualifications and they are not really academic in nature, but they are professional, yes, you can really highlight them if they are strong enough. And strong enough being that it has been issued by a recognized and supervised institution, and not just maybe because things we do on LinkedIn and Coursera and the rest, because those ones are not too supervised. So sometimes employers are a bit skeptical. But then if you have certificate from CA, or you attended a program at PwC or Aspire or whatever it is, yes, you can really highlight those ones if truly they align with what the organization is looking for. So there's always a point where you are strong at. Hammer that point more. Where you are less stronger at, you can even put it at the last session of the CV.
Okay. Okay. Somebody says that hypothetically, what would you have advised someone who is yet to qualify as a CA but has been shortlisted for a finance manager position in an industry he has no experience in?
Well, I don't know the organization, but this seems, it seems weird. I don't know,
Yeah.
and because every organization, they are very particular about the kind of people they want to bring in. So, but congratulations to you. What you can do is that we have what we call app learning. You can always learn some of the things at least, and then rely on networks like these things, because some of us and some people have 20 years experience and they are on Aspire platform. You can leverage on this, and this is where the networking I spoke to you about. I have people who will call you, Charlie, I'm trying to do this, so how do we do it? And then you can send them a template. Okay, you can organize this way, this, that way, and it works. This is how we do it as accountants.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. That's from my side. The last time I heard you speak about companies who require you to upload some CVs on their portal. And I think you spoke about the specific preference of what the format in which they will require you to upload such CVs. Can you speak on that? I
Yes.
think
So
I saw you post that on LinkedIn some time back.
yes. So I mean, nowadays, a lot of companies expect you to upload the CV on their portals.
Mhm.
Okay. This is not like the regular where you send it through an email. So
Mhm.
if you have to apply through a portal, 90% of the times it goes through what we call the applicant tracking system. So basically, this is a bot, like a robot that has been programmed to review your CV. And Sally, I mean, when you put out one job advertisement, you can have 1,000 people in Ghana, applying for. As a human being, nobody has the time to be doing this. So most of the time, they have employed these softwares to do the sieving and taking out the right CVs from the wrong ones. So that's when it comes to that, the presentation of the CV has to be so flexible. And I'll send samples to you so that you can give to our members. In that,
So what you
in
can do
that,
is that you can add it to the slide. Okay.
yes,
You could
yes,
sample portions in there so that when we share the slide, you can be part of it. Yeah.
yes, sure. So what it means is that for those of us who have pictures on our CVs and things, the applicant tracking system cannot read pictures. So the moment it gets there, it will reject your CV. Though you might qualify, but then though you might be qualified, you might qualify per the requirement, but then because your CV is not in the applicant tracking system format, it will be rejected. And so every aspect of the CV should be aligned. I'll send samples on the presentation so that you can see what I'm talking about. You should nothing on the CV should be underlined. Because when you underline, the ATS system cannot read things in boxes. It cannot read
Okay.
things in underline. And then you should use bullets in a very nice way. We have this is we should have a whole presentation on this because it is really, really detailed when it comes to this. But then the basic things is that take the job description, take your CV, look at the words that the job description has used, and then you try and put some into your CV. I'm not saying that if you don't have that experience, put it. If you have it, but probably not using the same words, you have to use such words, because for many of us who are looking to enter into the development finance space, like maybe work for AFDB and the rest, they use this. World Bank, they use this. Most of these big NGOs, they use this particular applicant tracking system. So if you have been applying and you are not having success, it means your CV format is in the wrong format. I'll share details so that you can follow. To do that. Of course, if you really want me to assist, of course, I do that as well, so I can help in that direction as
It's
well.
supposed to be a paid service, actually. So Dixie, what about remote jobs? So people now, for us accountant, now one of the options is to do remote jobs because actually there's a lot of demand out there. What do you have to say about that? What's the best options available for us who wants to do remote jobs? Yeah.
I've always been telling people that our job now has transitioned from the brick and mortar to online jobs, and of course we also have hybrid jobs and the rest. Now, what it means is that you need to have the right skill. Okay, when I talk about the right skill, now if you're an accountant, or you are now training to be in the profession, you have to, one, position yourself using social media, especially LinkedIn, so well in that most of these jobs will come from there. I've been contacted several times where a recruiter will say, oh, I have this job maybe at this place. do you mind it is remote? Do you mind maybe applying or something? I've had people walk to me also saying the same thing, that, oh, they've been contacted or they've seen this job which is remote, they want to apply. What it means is that if you really want to get into the remote jobs, one, first position yourself on social media or LinkedIn, not TikTok and the rest, LinkedIn. All right, that's the first stage. Then the second stage is that you need to know how to use some of the basic, tools. For example, most of these things will require you to use Excel. Most of these things will require you to use maybe some team management tools such as Slack. If you've not heard Slack and you want to get into remote jobs, you need to, read about it. You can download it, maybe not a paid version, but the other version, and try to practice it on yourself, how it works. You can even know how to use Google has Google Business. It has working space where you use Google Docs. So you have the same Google, you have the same Excel, but it is Google. It is online, and the functions might not be so much as you have it offline. And so if you know how to use the offline and you don't know how to use the online, getting into remote jobs will be very difficult for you. And most of the times, you need to show up when it comes to these things, in that you have to be, your profile online has to be good enough, and then you should know how to use some of these tools, okay?
Yeah,
because that is the only way.
Yeah, and one thing I've also learned also is that most of these online jobs, they actually look out for your activities on social media.
Yeah.
Just, you may not know, but they may be monitoring what you do on social media as a way of making a good selection. So you need to manage your social activity well, your social media activity in terms of what you post. You may be a professional, but be on LinkedIn and be misbehaving. Is that okay? There are people who may be on TikTok and be putting all manner of stupid things there. Be very careful. If you are building a professional brand, you don't go to Snapchat, do all manner of foolish things there, and expect somebody who wants to have build a credible brand to be associated with you. So be careful what you do on social media. You don't live carelessly and expect somebody to engage you to do something meaningful. So let's be mindful of that. Once you are professional, you brand yourself, what you put out there on social media should be futuristic. Because something you put there tomorrow, somebody may see it and can use it as a basis to judge you. You may not be like that, but that is the consequence of such action. So please be mindful of that. Especially as we are looking for online jobs, it's a key matter, because that is the only way the person can get to know you. He doesn't know you from anywhere, but what are your activities online? Exactly. You leave a lot of footprints on the internet of who you are, which clearly, I'm telling you, can play against you in the future. So let's take note of that. So I think on this note,
Eli, let me add this one. A lot of people also get scammed, because they are looking for online jobs. You have to be very careful. If it is too good to be true, know that you are being scammed. Anywhere you are.
Especially when you are being asked to make financial commitment,
I'm telling you,
that is where the problem is.
I'm telling you, where you have to tell you, oh, before you get the job, you have to make a commitment, and the commitment will be used, blah blah blah. Sometimes,
it's a format. So normally Nigerians will call it a format. So it's a prepared sequence of activities that somebody has rehearsed and know the answer to give you from each point in time. That is how scammers are. They know that, for example, somebody could give you an opportunity to tell you that there's a job in Canada, where you have to work remotely and all of that. He may sound so nice, tell you that there's a particular documentation you have to fill. So go here. He presents it in a very nice way. There are no commitment financially from the word go. Then you get into a point of desperation where you have committed so much effort. And that is when he starts striking to make such demands on you. Exactly. So you should know better. And as accountant, if somebody scams you, then I'm wondering whose financials you want to manage. If you get scammed, then I'm wondering whose CFO you want to be.
very important point.
So you should be sharp enough not to fall into such traps. And as I said, they are normally formats. That's how the Nigerians call it. It's a well-packaged, what do you call it, sequence of questions with answers, well-programmed. And if you are not smart, you surely fall in there. And you need to overcome that. So please, let's be mindful. So I think this will take some few hands. People have raised up their hands. We'll pick them up, and then we can wrap up on that. I think we've come a long night. I'm sure most people have enjoyed. The session is being recorded, so don't lose sight of it. If you just join us, we'll actually share the video with you. Hopefully by tomorrow morning, it should be ready to be shared on all platforms. And then also the template or the presentation slide will also be shared with some sample CVs that would be insightful to help you also prepare your CV. We can't do everything. So we'll take about 3 people who may be very lucky, exactly, to be chosen to ask questions live. So I'll start with one of my favorite students, who is now an accountant. She's called Dav. My sister Dav, how are you?
Fairly good evening. I'm fine by grace.
Great. Dav, talk to us. Any question?
Yes. Sir, about the CV and cover letter issue, some of us enrolled in some online courses and we were taught how to use some apps. You copy the job description or almost everything about the job, the requirements and everything. You copy your CV and put in the app, and the app will generate a cover letter, a customized cover letter for you, ask you a few questions and generate a customized cover letter for you, suiting the particular job opening, and even lets you know that it will score this particular percentage in the ATS app. But my challenge is, if you use it without editing it, can't you be charged for plagiarism or something like that? Or it's fine, we can just go ahead and use them.
Okay. Yeah, Dixon, can you respond?
Dav, let me say that, well, for plagiarism, no, but then AI, anytime you use AI to generate something and it has to be put in another maybe software which is also AI, most time the outcome is negative. So for those of you who are on LinkedIn, if you write using flowery language on LinkedIn, mostly it won't fly. The algorithm is such that it won't even recognize it. Okay, you won't have it. More like you have the human touch, where yes, you might make errors or whatever in it, but then the algorithm recognize that it is human being who has written them. So yes, it is good to use some of these things, but then always put the human aspect to it. That is why I told you that when you generate CVs with AI or cover letters, you have to put it into Word and edit it, on your own. Put it in a structure or format that will show that indeed human being is the one who has generated. And most of the times you will do so well in this. I've done this for people, and the success rate has been very, very, very impressive. So yes, AI is good, but always make sure that you do the editing yourself, because it really speaks a lot about even your proficiency in using some of these Microsoft tools.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thank you so
much. I hope you are fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. So let's take another person. As I said, it's just going to be 3 people asking questions, because most questions have been dealt with in the Q&A session. So we have Desmond. Desmond, you are privileged. Ask your question.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Well, I want to get more knowledge on this. How do you answer a question like, tell us about yourself? Do you need to add your primary level activity, like whether you are married or you are not married, in such areas, or you just have to go straight to the point, like how your academic ladder, how you travel through your academic ladder?
Okay.
And then the other one is, I heard him saying that you should not underline anything of your CV.
He's talking in terms of when your CV is being uploaded into an online portal, we're talking about software that normally recognize or sorts out CVs when they are placed onto an online portal. And he was giving some key guidelines on what kind of CVs that normally will perfectly be selected if you upload them into such sort of solution. So he was actually recommending that you should avoid underlining. Is that okay? Make sure that the content of the CV aligns with the job description so that the system could easily identify. Then also the bulletin should be well organized. So that's what he was speaking about on that. But in order to quickly answer your question, Dixon, can you give us a brief introduction? If somebody asks you, can you tell us a bit about yourself? Can you give us a sharp one, maybe using yourself as an example?
Okay, so I mean, Sally, before I answer that question, that
Yeah.
I mean that response always has to come from the job advertisement, because the job advertisement is basically the standard for which you are measured against. And so if you have to tell yourself in an interview, normally I use what you call where you've come from, where you are now, and where the future will be. Avoid anything personal. Like whether you are married, your age, and all those kind of things. They are personal issues that at the time that you are being interviewed, you don't need such information. When maybe you are employed and maybe they want to do insurance and other things for you, they might ask for whether you are married or how old are you and all these things. So if, for instance, you have a job accountant, they are looking for somebody 7 years or let's say 3 to 4 years working experience. The person should be a CA member. Okay, and then maybe your primary role will be, let's say, maybe you are into tax compliance. And if I'm the one answering such a question, I will, once the question is asked, yes, I'll thank the panelists for asking the question, and then I'll start by saying, I have been an accountant for the past 10 years. Within this period, I have assisted several organizations in organizing their tax. Recently, at the tax audit, in one of the organizations where I worked, I successfully defended a tax position, and that saved the company so and so amount. Currently, I am a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants and also have completed my master's. And I believe that all of these things solidifies my candidacy as the best person for this particular role. I feel that at this point in my career, this particular role aligns with what I'm looking at, as it will give me the opportunity to practice more on the tax, which I believe will be valuable to your organization. So in all these that I have said, each one of them, for example, the job description said the person should have 3 to 4 years. I said I have done 10 years. So it means that that particular point on the interview score sheet, it is a tick for me that I cover the experience. Okay, I mean, do I have am I a member of CA? Yes, I mentioned I'm a member of CA, and also I have master's degree. So basically, if that is a requirement that is ticked, sometimes they could have things, maybe soft skills, like the person should be should be somebody who is detailed oriented, or somebody who has good communication skills and all that. You don't need to tell me that I have good communication skills. You need to demonstrate that through how you talk to the panelists, and also, of course, how you've written your CV. That will demonstrate that you are good at communicating. But then, in terms of attention to details, yes, you can demonstrate, yes, I pay attention to details, and I ensure that for every document that comes to my table has been thoroughly reviewed in accordance with the policies of the organization. And this has been really helpful in my career, as I've been able to, sometimes identify whatever discrepancies you were able to identify, and how you resolve them, and how that saved the organization some monies. And I always say that sometimes you might not know how much savings it made, but then you can always make a very professional, guess about some of these things, and it will really help you to introduce yourself in a very professional way.
Thank you, Dixon, for the response. So we'll take our last person, and then we can shut down. It's exactly 8 o'clock, and we wouldn't want to go beyond 8. So we'll pick up one more person, and then we can shut down. Isaac, you are our last person. Isaac, if you can quickly ask your question. Hello, Isaac, are you ready? If Isaac is not ready, then Obed, can you ask your question?
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Obed.
Yes, please, I have two questions I want to ask. First of all, how should an aspiring accountant position himself or herself so that the individual can get an opportunity to start practicing as an accountant? Secondly, is there a must or is it very necessary for an accountant to specialize in any field of finance, say the CFA charter course or any other related one? Thank you.
Okay. So this thing you can speak to that.
Yeah, so for the last part, I'll tell you that each one of us, we have our unique aspirations, dreams, and all. So if you've entered into the profession, definitely you know why you are here, and hence if you think that the CFA program, which is more finance focused, is the one that will put you will take you to your maybe your dream or whatever it is, yes, then you pursue it with all the might that it deserves. If you think maybe you want to do CIT, yes, then you follow suit and pursue some of these things. But then each one of them, it is not because probably people are saying that, hey, CFA is this, so I want to go and do it. Do you really need it? Is it going to be beneficial to your career? These are critical questions you need to answer before you pay for any or you pursue any professional course. How do you position yourself? Well, in terms of positioning yourselves, you need to apply for the jobs. When you see them, apply for those that you qualify. At least you should qualify like 70%. Most of the times you need not qualify 100% all the time before you apply. Sometimes you can volunteer when you call someone, or you can call Sally that, oh Sally, this and that, I'm willing to maybe volunteer as someone. If there is the need or there's a space for that, he will definitely call on you to assist in one way or the other. So yes, through volunteerism you can hone your skills, learn more, and then you can also apply for the jobs if you think you are ready. And these things will really position, because see, accountant is the skills. Accountant is not just the qualification, the skills. So you need to build these skills through volunteerism, and also of course through proper jobs, and then you'll be ready. Okay, in all, what I would say is that be a student of learning. Learn not just what will get you employed in a way, but then what also will position you as a leader wherever you find yourself. It's very important to get ahead and build a unique profile. Yes.
Great. So I think very soon we'll do some more in this area. A lot has been said. One of the things that normally we keep hearing from our colleagues is the salaries that normally come with new openings for accountants. There's always a talk about being paid below a certain market rate. You see an opening for a role as an accountant with quite a heavy qualification and experience, with a salary pegged at 3,000 cedi. And it's all because, yes, people want accountant, but are not willing to pay the right price for them. I believe it's clear. And it's a conversation we must have. Is that clear? When you build value over time, you actually fit into the best roles. And it's something that is a work in progress. It's gradual. It's not a day's event. That is why you need to take advantage of all the opportunities you ever have to build qualifications or competencies. Now, CA has become so fundamental. A lot more needs to be done in addition. And one thing I always suggest is that be quite abreast with technology, because our profession is so much advancing that you need to do things so quick and provide management information for decision making. Speed is of essence, because our job is such that people think the role of accountant is quite historical. Most of the things we do are more historical, genes that have passed. Like somebody will say in a way, people have already chopped the money. What are you coming to tell us? Our role is becoming too historical, and the future is technology, big data, analytics to help with decision making. Because the reason why you prepare a financial report is to support decision making. But if that information is historical and too much quite not in time, then it loses relevance.
Yeah.
Because relevance is mainly about the time at which that report is presented. So analytical skills have become so essential to the point that we need to be abreast with them, being able to analyze. So the future-ready accountant is one who can make use of technology to prepare reports that can easily assist with good decision-making. Not just any kind of report that support good decision making. And the future is now about integrated thinking. Sustainability is now becoming a big wave around the world. So we need to be thinking more integrated because we prepare corporate reports, but those corporate reports just look at only financial capital, but does not look at human aspects, social capital, intellectual capital. So the world now is looking at integrated thinking. So if you're an accountant, then it's always about your IFRS. It's all about your numbers. You are losing. I'm telling you, the world is going towards integrated thinking. Sustainability being incorporated into the financial reports. So that it's not just about the numbers, but how those numbers impact society, impact the world, and to make it a better place for the future. So that is it. Those are my few words, sharing my experience with you. And I can tell you, the future is good if you are ready. The future is good if you are ready. And readiness means preparing for now for the opportunity to come. You see people getting good jobs, good opportunities, but it's because some preparation has been done. Some diligent preparation has been done. Some carefully thought through processes has been put in place to ensure that when the opportunity comes begging, you are not now moving all over looking for somebody to speak for you. Exactly. I have channeled or charted my professional career with little input from people. Obviously, because I have found a way to build value into what I do. Your work should speak for you. Exactly. And when people speak for you, then it means that you have redeemed the confidence they've imposed in you. Because you cannot, people will ask you to refer them. You give them referrals, and they are next to what? Nothing in terms of bringing value to bear on the organization. Exactly. And I will tell you that build value. Put so much into building your career. CA is not just enough. I'm telling you, I repeat, just being an accountant is not enough. There's so much that you need to do to add value. And the journey begins now. And with us, we are ready to provide that support. With us, we are ready to give you the advice. And that is why we had this webinar. And I can tell you from now to the end of the year, we shall have more frequent webinars, all in a way to put us in the right frame, exactly, before we end the year and begin next year in a more better way. So that is it. So Dixon, any final words?
So there's a funny question which somebody once Stephen Mason says, what is the typical character of an accountant? I have friends who have qualified and do not answer my calls anymore. The
character is that they are busy. Everybody is looking for something to do because that's why I always say that when I see people putting up a lot of I don't want to use some harsh words, but you see people putting a lot of idle things that are not, like, you see them sharing links to sharing videos that are like funny videos, and then I'm wondering how these people have time to do that. Exactly. If you see me share something, then you see me share a job opening. I don't know whether you see that on our alumni. Yeah. You should share something that adds value to your colleague. That is how you are respected.
Yeah.
That is why. So, but if you have a friend who has stopped picking your call, it means that you are not adding value to him. That is the truth. So if you are calling a friend and he's not picking your call, it tells that you are not bringing value to him. He will not pick your call. But if your friend knows that this person is somebody who is valuable, then he'll pick your call. So build value into yourself so that people will not avoid your call. Your missed call will be so important. If Akufo-Addo calls you now and you miss his call, do you know the level of desperation you used to call him back? It's because he's bringing value to your life. But if people are refusing to pick up, it means you are not bringing value. Exactly. Yesterday, somebody called me. Can you imagine? What do you call it? An alumni called me, and the question is asking me is about a question regarding an SHS student who has an assignment, and he's asking about how the debit and credit should be done. Can you imagine? He's saying that there's a trial balance. They've given an assignment to his son in school or something like that, and there's a trial balance. So how do you? Can you imagine? In the time I have, the kind of demands that are on me now, I'm coming to answer that. So sometimes people don't pick calls because it's usually the case that the things you are coming to ask the person, you could have even answered it yourself. I hope I'm making sense. So that is it. So please, let us build value. Exactly. Let's build value. If not, people will stop picking your calls and it will tell you something. So that is it. So colleagues, thanks for this evening session. I'm sure you have good understanding of issues that are relevant. As I said, we'll replicate more of these sessions very soon so that we can all give ourselves the opportunity to be relevant in the profession. So on that note, thanks to everybody. My name is Sigmund. We have Dixon, who helped in providing us our knowledge. As I said, you expect the next session. And we have a job portal. For those of you who don't know, if you go to our mobile application and our website, Aspire Executive Institute, you have our job portal with a lot of job openings. We frequently update it with relevant jobs so that you can always get an opportunity to apply for jobs easily. Right. So on that note, thank you, Dixon, for helping us with this webinar. We are so grateful for having you. You have not disappointed, and we are glad that you've shared knowledge. And by sharing knowledge, I'm sure you have added to your profile because the Aspire platform is huge, and we had almost close to about 400 people attending this call, and that is clearly wonderful. I'm not sure some people have been able to gather as much as so we are grateful for the patronage. Yes, we hope that the next webinar will hit 1,000 mark. Exactly. So thank you all and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.